So ever since Avengers Infinity War came out and shocked everybody, there's been a lot of talks in regards to the future of the MCU and which exact direction they could be taking a lot of their franchises in. Now, of course, one of the most popular characters in Marvel Comics is Wolverine, and certainly he's had his fair share of movies. And now with that acquisition of Fox looming in the distance, probably to be complete about a year, maybe a little bit more from now, things are going to get really interesting in the MCU when that's all said and done. And we've already discussed the fact that it could be up to 10 years by the time we see Wolverine in the MCU, but it's probably going to be a little bit shorter than that. Well, recently the Russo brothers were talking about this exact subject, and Joe Russo kind of hinted towards the fact of how other characters have been reinvented that have had other franchises. Essentially, the comparison was made between Spider-Man and how he's changed from the two previous iterations that we saw, specifically citing The Amazing Spider-Man as an example of how this new franchise took a new approach to the character who was just recently in a film. Now, of course, when it came to The Amazing Spider-Man, it more or less did what Sam Raimi tried to do, but they tried to modernize and make it a little bit more hip for younger audiences and try to place it in a modern-day setting. And it certainly worked in that regard, but clearly there was too much that they took on, and there was just too much similarity with what they were doing with the previous movies, and fans were rather sick of it. And in this new universe where shared universes and everything were taken off, people wanted Spider-Man to be along with the Avengers. With Spider-Man Homecoming, that character was reinvented, starting with the Russo brothers' own, Spider-Man showing up in Civil War, and that kind of set the tone for what Watts had to follow in Homecoming. And certainly it's Spider-Man, but it's a different iteration of the character. And essentially what they're teasing is that this is what they're going to be doing with Wolverine. He's been in so many movies, and just recently he's finished up his run in the X-Men films and his own solo films, so you can't necessarily do the same thing. So you have to reinvent the character for the universe you're doing it in. And what they're teasing is, look at what The Amazing Spider-Man did, and now look at what we did in the MCU with him. Expect maybe that type of change to be coming to Wolverine when he shows up. Which I'm honestly 100% okay with, because I don't want the same Wolverine we got in the X-Men movies, because that Wolverine had his time. It's time for a reinvention, and hopefully we get a costume, which I have no doubts we will.